furrowing into a deep crease, revealing his seriousness. Your girlfriend's name is Sun Ying, correct? Yes, that's right. Shi Zhongfu contemplated and remarked. Yanqing, such a person cannot be left alive. Xing Yanqing shuddered, for the nefarious deeds were primarily orchestrated by Shi Zhongfu. He could be deemed slightly despicable, perhaps even somewhat wicked, acting as an accomplice, yet he had not descended to the depths of irredeemable evil. Boss, Shi Zhongfu continued, if one is unwilling to part with a child, they shall not ensnare the wolf. What is a woman? Can she be compared to money and a luxurious mansion? Xing Yanqing sensed Shi Zhongfu's intent. Was he contemplating murder? Noticing his hesitation, Shi Zhongfu pressed on. I possess a villa in the city. Once our task is accomplished, I shall transfer it to you. At that time, it will be no challenge to win over women even more remarkable than an ordinary female university student. Seeing that Xing Yanqing was swayed, Shi Zhongfu persisted. All you need to do is arrange a meeting with her, and I shall handle the rest. You must understand that once the events of that year resurface, we will both be in grave trouble. After much deliberation, Xing Yanqing ultimately capitulated, torn between a glorious life and the coldness of prison walls. Instinctively, he chose to embrace sin to obscure sin. I understand, boss. Good, Shi Zhongfu smiled. I will make the arrangements and send you the address. Meanwhile, Sun Ying, who had just uncovered a lead, remained oblivious to the impending crisis. Unlike Chun Xiao, a seasoned reincarnate, she was merely an ungraduated university student. Although slightly more mature than her peers, her perspective was still limited. While immersed in the excitement of her discovery, she was unaware that others had woven an elaborate trap, awaiting her fall into it. Influenced by the substantial sell-off by its parent company, Daeon Group's stock price plummeted, nearing a 40% decline. Chun Xiao resolved to begin purchasing shares once the stock price neared a 50% drop. Thus, he remained vigilant regarding the company's stock fluctuations, alongside the daily market trends and the gradual return of several women. At 3 in the afternoon, Su Tang knocked and entered the office. Boss, Yu Mingqi has arrived. Very well, I shall head over this evening, Chun Xiao replied. Su Tang hesitated for a moment and said, it might be too late this evening. Why? Chun Xiao inquired. Puzzled, Su Tang explained, Xia Yudi is expected around 5 o'clock, Li Wenli at 7, and I've arranged Zhang Ting for 10. You could fit in a meal in between. Su Tang laid out Chun Xiao's schedule clearly. Are they all returning on the same day? Su Tang nodded. It is quite a coincidence. Chun Xiao was a loss for words, feeling a headache for the first time over such matters. Will the techniques bestowed by Huang Banjian suffice? The moment of reckoning had arrived. After 2 months apart, neglecting anyone was ill-advised. Therefore, Chun Xiao resolved to suffer himself and charge forward resolutely. Let's proceed. Okay, Su Tang led Chun Xiao to a 5-star hotel, a haven for beautiful women. She handed him 4 room cards, each inscribed with names and room numbers. Upon inspecting the cards, Chun Xiao felt relieved they were not on the same floor. Su Tang then handed him a handbag, saying, Boss, this contains 4 distinct gifts, each with comparable value. Chun Xiao nodded, silently commending Su Tang's meticulousness. Whether in matters of business or personal affairs, he was exceedingly satisfied with her performance. It is indeed a stroke of fortune to possess such a capable assistant. He could not help but think that it was time to consider a raise for Su Tang. Well done, he said. Su Tang responded with a sweet smile. This is what I meant to do. After saying this, she playfully shook her fist in front of Chun Xiao, exclaiming, Boss, keep it up. Chun Xiao found this utterly absurd. Ahem, all right, you may return now. Oh sure, she replied. Chun Xiao then turned to head towards Yu Mengqi's room. Su Tang chuckled and called Lin Yanran over. Suzong, what is the matter? Lin Yanran inquired. Su Tang replied, stay here and record the boss's timing. Lin Yanran responded with confusion. Timing? What timing? Su Tang pointed towards the hotel room and laughed. I wish to gather more detailed information about the boss for future arrangements, so I can be well prepared. Lin Yanran was taken aback, finally realizing what was required of her. So, you want me to record the time while they are having fun inside? Am I to stand outside and listen? Lin Yanran felt she had never encountered such absurdity in her life. Chapter 202. Uninterrupted due to the unique nature of her job, Lin Yanran reluctantly pressed her ear against the door. Inside the room, Chun Xiao and Yu Mingqi were quite affectionate. You've lost weight after returning home for over a month, Chun Xiao remarked. Yu Mingqi shyly replied, I practice my dance at home. Chun Xiao raised an eyebrow, noting that his female friends were truly talented. Xie Yunru excelled in fitness, Yu Mengqi was skilled in singing and dancing, Zhang Ting was a host. Li Wenli adored oil painting, and Xia Yudi was a gaming enthusiast. As for Tancheng, she was still a question mark. Then show me a dance, he said. Yu Mingqi replied with a sweet smile. Okay. She found a song with a strong rhythm and captivating allure on her phone, and began to sway her graceful waist in time with the beat. Chen Xiao lounged with one leg crossed over the other, thoroughly enjoying the performance. Yu Mingqi was the belle of a neighboring school, tall and stunningly beautiful, with a sweet voice and enchanting dance moves. The light green dress she wore perfectly accentuated her alluring figure. Amidst the pulsating music, Chen Xiao gradually became entranced by her spirited dance. Thanks to her years of dance training, Yu Mingqi's body was incredibly resilient. She executed various dance styles with utmost perfection, effortlessly meeting any request from Chen Xiao. Their relationship was founded on financial arrangements, and due to the sheer volume of Chen Xiao's wealth, it was challenging for her to break free. Chen Xiao's expectations were not particularly high. As long as she could be a pleasing presence, deep emotions or true love were unnecessary. However, dancing was an endeavor that demanded significant physical stamina. Chen Xiao, being an adept dancer himself, found that while Yu Mingqi could dance alone without feeling fatigued, it was a different story when dancing with him. After more than an hour, she was utterly exhausted. Chen Xiao admired Yu Mingqi's long legs for a moment before covering her with a blanket and stepping out of the room. After a taxing journey, Yu Mingqi would likely need a long rest to recover. After descending the stairs and enjoying a cup of coffee, he noticed a business vehicle from Tung Xiao Capital parked at the hotel entrance. Dressed in a lace-trimmed dress, Xia Yudi wore half-length white lace stockings and sported two playful ponytails, exuding charm and beauty. The driver unloaded her luggage as Chen Xiao rose from a nearby CF and waved. Upon spotting him, Xia Yudi abandoned her belongings and rushed towards him, disregarding the onlookers, and threw herself into his arms, tightly wrapping her arms around his neck. Each encounter with Xia Yudi left Chen Xiao acutely aware of her profound affection. Meanwhile, a staff member discreetly placed her luggage beside Chen Xiao before quietly departing, ensuring not to disturb the two. Chen Xiao, I missed you so much, she exclaimed. Chen Xiao embraced her and asked, would you like something to drink? Xia Yudi shook her head, eager to share tales of her trip to the grasslands. Old Xia is so annoying. He insisted on staying longer. When I wanted to leave, he even complained to my mother, which is why I could only escape today. Chen Xiao found himself speechless, imagining how enraged Xia Linen would be if he knew his little girl spoke so candidly about him. Xia Yudi's voice, naturally tinged with a slight lisp, harmonized perfectly with her sweet appearance. Chen Xiao listened with a smile, finding her complaints quite amusing. However, glancing at the time, he noted it was already 5:30, and Li Winley would arrive by 7. Cough, Yudi, what would you like to eat? I can have the hotel arrange something, he offered. Xia Yudi leaned closer, her voice soft and endearing. I want to eat you. Chen Xiao, intrigued, found her suggestion aligning perfectly with his desires. Without hesitation, he took her upstairs, prompting several robust men in the lobby to exclaim in disbelief at the audacity of taking such a delightful girl upstairs. Indeed, Chen Xiao not only led her upstairs, but also showed no mercy, playfully teasing the adorable girl until she was brought to tears, perhaps finding a peculiar sense of achievement in it. Chen Xiao, have you been working out again? Xia Yudi inquired. Not really. I've been quite busy this summer. Only managing to squeeze in a little practice before bed, he replied. Then why do you feel so strong? She pressed. Chen Xiao paused, realizing, oh, it might be due to a special type of training I've been doing. Don't practice that, it sounds sinister, she exclaimed. Chen Xiao chuckled. No, really. Just listen. The lisp echoed in the opulent room. As he glanced at the clock, it was 6:30, and Xia Yudi still had a bit of energy left. He quickened his pace and finally lulled her to sleep by 6:40. After tucking her in, he took a shower and stepped out of the room. Although he yearned to cherish her, he knew he had to escape before she fell into a deep slumber. Observing Xia Yudi, he couldn't help but smile in resignation. She was always so proactive, yet ultimately surrendered, truly a playful spirit. Upon exiting, Chen Xiao spotted a familiar figure lurking in a corner of the hallway. Curiosity piqued. He approached to find Lin Yinran hiding in the fire escape with a notebook. Yinran? What are you doing here? He asked. I'm catching cockroaches, she replied. Chen Xiao was taken aback. Catching cockroaches? In Shucheng, Xia Yudi's father, Xia Linen, had once shouted about catching cockroaches, even vowing to crush them. The memory struck a chord with him. How could you catch such an adorable creature as a cockroach? You mustn't catch it, do you hear me? Lin Yinren exclaimed. Is the boss out of her mind? A cockroach cute? Oh, I see. Chen Xiao replied, dissatisfied, as he playfully pinched her cute nose. enjoying himself before heading toward Li Wenli's room. Despite the continuous battles, Chen Xiao felt surprisingly little fatigue, prompting him to commend the skills imparted by Huang Banzian. In the past, while he could barely manage a 2-hour struggle, it was nothing compared to the ease and energy he felt now. Zhang Ting arrived at 10, allowing ample time, which made Chen Xiao feel quite at ease in Li Wenli's presence. One must admit, Su Tang had been quite thoughtful. Inside the room, Li Wenli playfully chided, "You promised to inform me first when you returned to Jinning. I've been too busy. I'm not the first to tell you, am I?" Li Wenli's delicate features bore an expression of disbelief, her small nose crinkling adorably. As long as she wasn't the first to inform Xia Yudi, it was acceptable. Chen Xiao found himself at a loss. Why were these two girls at odds? After a moment of contemplation, Li Wenli added, "Actually, it wouldn't matter if you told her first. We reconciled." Reconciled? How did that happen? Chen Xiao asked, intrigued. During the break, we ran into each other at the airport CAF, Li Wenli explained. Chen Xiao's attention sharpened. So, it was just the two of them having a private conversation? Yes. Who else could it be? Oh, and while we were chatting, a girl was eavesdropping nearby. She eventually left for some reason. Chen Xiao had no knowledge of the airport encounter and thus dismissed it, as it was still early before 10. There was no rush. If earlier events had felt like a tempest, now it was akin to a gentle breeze. Li Wenli possessed an exotic charm, further accentuated by her years of oil painting, which bestowed upon her an artistic aura that was particularly delightful. After a long absence, friends had countless topics to discuss. However, to Lin Yanran, listening from outside, the scene appeared quite different. She diligently noted in her little book, Scene 3, the boss is fatigued, and the room is calm. Only Li Wenli's voice can be heard, seemingly engaged in conversation. That evening, Chen Xiao opted not to descend for dinner, but instead had it delivered to his room, sharing the meal with Li Wenli, who was wrapped in a towel. Meanwhile, Zhang Ting had arrived at the hotel, engaged in conversation with Su Tang for a while before obtaining her room key and preparing to leave. "Wait a moment. I sense something is troubling you," Su Tang remarked. Zhang Ting was taken aback. How perceptive. She had tried her best to appear nonchalant. The matter concerning Yin Bingqin was trivial, but the encounter with Yan Yin at Zijing Manor had left her feeling quite flustered. After all, she was merely a junior majoring in broadcasting at Jinning University, and being confronted by the second daughter of Jinning's wealthiest family had rattled her. Her thoughts were simple. The wealthiest person in Jinning undoubtedly wielded immense power. "No, I might just be a bit tired," she replied. Su Tang frowned slightly, glancing at her watch. "It is still early. Shall we sit over there?" Zhang Ting hesitated for a moment before nodding in agreement. The two settled onto a sofa in the hotel's lounge area. After pondering for a bit, Su Tang inquired, "How is everything at school?" "Everything is quite well at school. I have received numerous opportunities to host events, so the teachers understand my absences," Zhang Ting replied. Su Tang nodded, concluding that the issue did not lie with the school. However, do not become so preoccupied with work that you neglect to spend time with your family occasionally. Zhang Ting smiled. "Since the semester began, my family has been planning a trip. Even if I wish to accompany them, I find it difficult to do so." Su Tang's brow slightly furrowed at this. Zhang Ting appeared restless, but it was neither due to her studies nor her family. Was it perhaps related to her romantic life, or something else? In matters of the heart, Zhang Ting had only Chen Xiao, barring any infidelity. Other uncertainties were too vast to contemplate. Regardless of the cause, Su Tang sensed the uncertainty and potential threat emanating from Zhang Ting. "Zhang Ting, yes? What is it, Sister Su Tang? Are you familiar with Chen Xiao?" Zhang Ting paused. "I know him to a limited extent." Su Tang smiled gently. "He is a genius. Honest, not prone to theft or deceit, deeply loyal, and kind-hearted. However, he possesses a slight flaw. This is his only vulnerability. Therefore, I shall serve as a barrier against any harm that could come to him in this regard. Do you understand my meaning?" As she spoke her final words, Su Tang's tone grew increasingly cold and resolute. Zhang Ting nodded in astonishment. Su Tang's implication was unmistakable. She suspected Zhang Ting might cause Chen Xiao harm. This woman is formidable. Zhang Ting had no intention of betraying Chen Xiao. Yet discussing matters concerning the Yin sisters was delicate. After all, the other party was immensely powerful. However, if she remained silent, she could not absolve herself of suspicion in Su Tang's eyes. Noticing Zhang Ting's internal struggle, Su Tang was convinced that something was amiss. "Zhang Ting, I do not know what you fear, but Chen Zhao's influence is far more formidable than you realize. Should you feel threatened in any way, do not hesitate to speak. Both he and I will assist you in resolving it." If you choose not to speak. Su Tang extended her hand and continued. Then kindly hand over the room card. Zhang Ting suddenly realized that if she lost Chen Xiao, she would no longer qualify as a pawn for Yan Bingxin. Everything she currently possessed, along with the promising future that lay within reach, would dissolve into nothingness. Chen Xiao was the core. He was the key to everything. Tightening her grip on the room card, Zhang Ting said, Sister Su Tang, I will tell you. Half an hour later, after Su Tang had listened to Zhang Ting's account, she fell into deep contemplation. The Yin sisters seemed quite interested in their boss. Yan Bingxin only tasked Zhang Ting with winning Chen Zhao's favor, while Yan Yinyan instructed her to discern his preferences, particularly regarding women and intimate matters. Both women wisely refrained from delving into financial matters. Perhaps they too had considered it, but deemed Zhang Ting an unstable piece on the chessboard, should she falter. Not only would their goals remain unachieved, but they might also inadvertently offend Chen Xiao. Upon contemplating this, Su Tang smiled faintly and said, You may return to your room now. Everything is proceeding as usual with Yan Bingxin. As for Yan Yanyan, I will later inform you on how to navigate matters with her. Her reputation is rather poor, and she is unworthy of being Chen Zhao's partner. Zhang Ting, she continued. All right, Cousin Su. As the clock approached 9, Li Wenli had already made her travel arrangements and retired early. Chen Xiao quietly departed. Although both Zhang Ting and Sun Ying were his seniors, Zhang Ting exuded a more junior demeanor in Chen Zhao's presence, appearing obedient and pliable. Due to her frequent participation in significant school events, she was affectionately dubbed the dream of 30,000 male students at Jining University. Her physique, beauty, and grace were undeniable. Yet, society is often harsh. Ordinary individuals can only admire from their screens, while the affluent have the privilege of befriending beauties face to face. To be candid, Chen Xiao was somewhat weary, yet Zhang Ting possessed an exceptional talent for conversation. Where did you acquire this skill? He inquired. I learned it from watching videos, she replied, somewhat sheepishly, as she couldn't possibly admit that Yan Bingxin had enlisted a professional to teach her. Chen Xiao nodded, looking down at Zhang Ting and complimenting. You have a natural gift. Impressive. After a considerable pause, Zhang Ting rose and said, I encountered Sister Su Tang downstairs. Indeed, Chen Xiao replied nonchalantly, as he was not surprised. This was all orchestrated by Su Tang. Hesitating slightly, Zhang Ting added, She conversed with me at length. Chen Xiao felt a surge of amusement within. Was Su Tang once again engaging in her subtle guidance? No worries, converse with her more. Su Tang is my most capable subordinate. Through this probing, Zhang Ting gradually grasped Su Tang's significance in Chen Zhao's eyes and understood how to proceed in the future. With a charming smile, she cast aside other notions and continued their dialogue. Chapter 204. The start of junior year. The night was adorned with vibrant neon lights that illuminated Zhang Ting's skin, which was as smooth and creamy as milk, casting it in a kaleidoscope of colors through the floor-to-ceiling windows. The lights in the room were extinguished, as Chen Xiao noted that this view evoked a striking resemblance to the world of Avatar. Typically, at midnight, Chen Xiao would not feel drowsy, but today was different. Without even taking a shower, he collapsed onto the bed and succumbed to slumber. In a hazy state, he felt a refreshing sensation wash over his soul and couldn't help but exclaim how wonderful it was to be wealthy, albeit exhausting. The following morning, Chen Zhao's phone was on silent, and he remained blissfully unaware of several missed calls. In the office of Tung Xiao Capital, a group of individuals awaited Su Tang's decision. After a moment of contemplation, Su Tang stated, The boss previously mentioned that we should begin purchasing shares of Daeon Group once the stock price falls below 45%. Let us proceed according to plan. Understood. The traders responded, swiftly commencing the acquisition of shares in Daeon Group. Not long ago, they had sold at $25 per share, and today they were buying back at $13, a remarkable turnaround. Chen Xiao awoke at noon, just in time for the market's close. Upon waking, he was momentarily dazzled by the sight of the fair skin surrounding him. After some morning exercise, he finally felt invigorated enough to rise. Upon checking his phone, he discovered a flurry of missed calls and messages. A brief glance revealed that the company had already begun purchasing shares of Daeon Group. He then dialed Su Tang to discuss further. Your decision is indeed wise. Let us continue our investments, with our initial goal being to acquire 10% of the Ocean Group shares. Very well, boss. How are you? Chen Xiao. I'm splendid. Oh, do take care and rest well. All right, goodbye. After hanging up, a short while later, someone from the hotel arrived to deliver the meal. Upon opening it, Chen Xiao was taken aback. Every dish was extraordinarily rich and sumptuous. He couldn't help but wonder if consuming it all would leave him with a nosebleed. Zhang Ting, somewhat apprehensive, suggested perhaps we should refrain from eating it. Chen Xiao, puzzled, asked why. Zhang Ting hesitated, saying, "Oh, it's nothing. I'm just concerned about the bed's capacity." As the new semester approached, many students began returning to campus, and Jining University regained its lively atmosphere. However, the scorching heat of August and September made the weather unbearable, with a blazing sun distorting the air. Chen Xiao was now a junior, while Sun Ying and Zhang Ting faced graduation. They bid farewell to a group of senior sisters and were soon to welcome a new batch of freshmen. This was perhaps the most eagerly discussed topic among the male students each year. The other girls had already been escorted back to school. Chen Xiao had traded in his vehicle for a more understated phaeton, gliding through the campus with grace. Zhang Ting nestled in the back seat, resting against Chen Xiao. Watching students disembark from buses, dragging their suitcases and drenched in sweat, rushing into the school to claim shuttle rides, Zhang Ting felt a wave of nostalgia. She once belonged to their ranks, and now she sat comfortably in a luxurious car, arriving directly at the dormitory. Fate is indeed mysterious. One never knows what kind of people they will encounter, leading to life-altering changes. Although Chen Xiao's car lacked a faculty pass, it cruised through without hindrance. Don't ask why. It's simply a matter of funds being sufficiently allocated. If he chose to be more audacious, he could even land a helicopter on campus. The vehicle came to a stop beneath the broadcasting and hosting dormitory. Zhang Ting wrapped her arms around Chen Xiao's neck and planted a gentle kiss on him, only to feel the warmth depart as she exited the car. As the university's most renowned host, Zhang Ting immediately captured the attention of the surrounding crowd of admirers. Ignoring their gazes, she turned back to wave at Chen Xiao before swaying her alluring figure toward the dormitory. Chen Xiao chuckled, instructing the driver, "Lu, take me to Building 5. "Got it," came the reply. Upon reaching Building 5, as Chen Xiao stepped out of the car, he was promptly approached by Lu Xian. "Whoa, Xiaozi, how did you manage to get a ride back?" Chen Xiao, slightly taken aback, glanced at the phaeton and replied, "I'm earning now. Just hired a black car." "Is that so surprising?" Lu Xian looked at the Volkswagen and said nothing, instead excitedly slinging an arm around Chen Xiao's shoulders and exclaimed, "My brother, I'm making money now. Let us conquer this semester." Chen Xiao noted the noticeable darkening of Lu Xian's skin and teased, "Did you take up bricklaying on a construction site?" Lu Xian, taken aback, exclaimed, "How did you guess?" Chen Xiao, at a loss for words, replied, "I just said it casually." "You fool. Let me offer you a piece of advice. Earning money isn't easy, so know when to stop." Lu Xian disdainfully remarked, "You know nothing of finance. Although I spent my summer working hard, I have not neglected macroeconomics. Given the current developmental landscape of our nation, I have gained numerous insights over the past couple of months. Just wait and see." Chen Xiao retorted, "You'll be the one to suffer, you bastard. Get lost." Upon returning to the dormitory, they found Xiao Ji had arrived early. Without hesitation, he tossed 2 cigarettes their way. Chen Xiao and Lu Xian effortlessly accepted them, accustomed as they were to Xiao Ji's generous habits. Perhaps his father, seeking to avoid complications, provided him with an entire semester's living expenses in one go. Lu Xian, astonished, exclaimed, "Wow, you really splurged, smoking cigarettes worth over $20? With a cigarette clamped between his teeth at a Johnny angle, Xiao Ji simultaneously played a game, grinning as he said, "Just smoke it, no big deal, I've got money." Lu Xian's eyes lit up. "Xiao Ji, you're impressive. How about you repaying me the $580 you owe from the past 2 years?" Xiao Ji dismissed him with a wave of his hand. Sure. I'll get it to you in a few days. A few $100 is nothing." Lu Xian thought to himself, "I can't believe you. A few days? You'll drag this out till the end of the semester. Just a few days? It better not exceed a week." All right, I get it. Why are you so anxious about this small amount?" Though Lu Xian's mouth was busy, he remained silent, cursing under his breath. Chen Xiao found amusement in the situation, thinking, "You really think you can wait a week? Don't expect to see that money by graduation. Come on, why not find a girl while we're still on break?" Xiao Ji smirked lewdly, yet retorted, "Shut up, I have a girlfriend. Besides, isn't gaming enjoyable? What is so great about girls?" Chen Xiao mused. "Could it be that your girlfriend drained you before you came back? Now you're in a sage-like state?" Shortly thereafter, someone knocked at the dormitory door. Lu Xian opened it, momentarily stunned. "Li Wenli? What brings you here?" Dressed in a light blue dress and carrying 2 large bags, Li Wenli replied, "I'm here to change Chen Zhao's bedding." Lu Xian was left speechless. The goddess had come to their door. Xiao Ji's attention was entirely captured by Li Wenli. Chen Xiao couldn't help but caution, "Hey, stop staring or you'll be in trouble." Xiao Ji glanced back at the screen, finding the game uninteresting. Lu Xin. "Where's my English book? I need to study for the CET 6 exam." Lu Xin shot back, "Get lost. You Haven T even passed the CET 3, failing 8 out of 9 subjects. How do you expect to pass the CET 6? Chapter 205. Welcoming new students. Xiao Ji was clearly taken aback that Lu Xin, after enjoying his cigarette, was so uncooperative. That was an entire cigarette, and it cost $20. Upon entering, Li Wenli ignored everyone else and flashed a sweet smile at Chen Xiao before proceeding to tidy up the bed. Her graceful figure, kneeling on the bed, was utterly enticing, causing Xiao Ji to steal glances. Lu Xin, disapproving of his behavior, snapped, "What are you looking at?" She asked Chen Xiao's girlfriend. Caught in the act of stealing glances, Xiao Ji restrained himself, casting a sharp glare at Lu Xin before picking up a rag to tidy the writing desk. He stole a glance at Li Wenli, while Lu Xin maintained a fierce stare upon him. "Still watching? Why are you still sneaking peeks?" Xiao Ji thought to himself, perplexed by Lu Xion's insistence. Lu Xin pointed with his index and middle fingers to his own eyes, then directed them toward Xiao Ji, signaling that he would keep his gaze fixed on him throughout the day. Once Xiao Ji finished tidying up, he abandoned the idea of gaming and instead engaged in conversation with his dorm mates about amusing summer experiences, primarily concerning bringing along Chen Xiao and Li Wenli. Li Wenli was preoccupied with making Chen Xiao's bed, responding to inquiries with casual indifference, while Chen Xiao, smoking, conversed with a nonchalant air regarding Xiao Ji's affairs. Noticing that no one had paid him any attention for quite a while, Lu Xin took the initiative to ask, "Enough about family matters. Haven't you and your girlfriend gone out for fun?" Xiao Ji retorted, "What fun? It's all from the past." Lu Xin pressed further, "And now? Are you no longer together?" After much hesitation, Xiao Ji finally replied, "We are together, but it feels almost as if we are not." Chen Xiao inwardly scoffed, recognizing that. In truth, Xiao Ji was the epitome of a scoundrel. He had been in a relationship with his girlfriend for 9 years, ultimately marrying her. Yet during that time, he had also pursued 3 or 4 other women. Once Li Wenli had finished arranging the bedding, she descended and began organizing Chen Xiao's desk. After ensuring everything was in order, she took the clothes Chen Xiao had changed out of and left the dormitory. "Wait, Xiao Zi, are you two dating?" Xiao Ji asked eagerly. Li Wenli had recently undergone a remarkable transformation. Previously, her modest background had led her to dress simply. But now her attire reflected a newfound elegance that showcased her beauty, revealing to her classmates that their class held such a stunning girl. Chen Xiao replied, "No, we're just friends." What a shame, Xiao Ji thought, feeling a sense of injustice. Before long, class leader Lu Yang shouted from the corridor, "Gather at 8 tomorrow morning. Don't be late." Chen Xiao, puzzled, inquired about the situation. Xiao Ji complained, "What nonsense? It's sweltering outside." Lu Xin explained, "It's for the new students. This year it's our class." Xiao Ji paused, then promptly shut down his computer, dressed, and exited the dormitory. Lu Xin, bewildered, wondered what Xiao Ji was up to. Chen Xiao chuckled, "Oh, it's for the newcomers. They're all little sisters. What do you think he is up to?" Lu Xin remained confused. "But the welcoming event is tomorrow. Why is he leaving tonight?" "You'll find out later. Come on, let us go to the cafeteria for a meal," Xiao Ji urged. Lu Xin returned to reality. "Are we going to the Chicken Feather cafeteria? I have money. Let's dine at a restaurant on the back street." "Dining at a Chicken Feather restaurant? No, we should eat at the cafeteria. You must conserve your limited funds for inevitable losses." Get lost. Arriving at the long-awaited third cafeteria stirred a wealth of memories. During their initial university days, the class often gathered in the cafeteria for meals and conversation. Over time, their circle had shrunk from 7 or 8 people to 3 or 5, eventually dwindling to just 2 or 3. Often, one would find themselves alone. Perhaps this is the essence of growing up. The older one becomes, the lonelier one feels as friends gradually drift away. Once upon a time, Chen Xiao firmly believed in the unifying and commanding power of money. He thought that if he desired it, this friendship, bolstered by wealth, could perpetuate indefinitely. The two ordered several dishes and found a place to sit. Before long, Shen Jiansheng, Wu Ling, Li Wenli, and other classmates arrived at the cafeteria to dine. And Chen Zhao's company grew from 2 to many. Eventually, nearly half the class gathered together, marking a rare instance of collective camaraderie. The atmosphere gradually became lively. Chen Xiao tossed 2 packs of cigarettes onto the table. In an era where indoor smoking was largely unregulated, before their meal concluded, the group had consumed them all. As they chatted, Lu Xi nudged Chun Xiao with his elbow and whispered, "Hey, Tan Shang." Chin Xiao turned to look, his gaze meeting Tan Shang's for a fleeting moment before parting. While eating, "Don't stare aimlessly, Lu Xi," he remarked. "Ah, it seems the sun cannot let go after all." With Chun Xiao's movement, several individuals in attendance noticed Tan Shang, though none dared to speak up. After the meal, Chun Jiansheng invited Lu Xian and Chun Xiao to play mahjong at Xiulin Yuan. Lu Xian replied, "I'm not going. I still have to study macroeconomics." Chun Jiansheng retorted, "Are you out of your mind? Why not learn from Xiaozi? He earned over 10 billion during the summer break." The sudden revelation nearly startled Chun Xiao. But he quickly realized that Chun Jiansheng was referring to a game of Do Di Zhu, a popular card game in the northern regions. Naturally, Lu Xian was skeptical, even about the virtual currency involved. "Stop exaggerating. If he said he lost 100 billion on girls, I could believe that." Chun Xiao interjected, "Damn. These guys are eerily accurate. All spot on. Earning 100 billion is no lie. However, losing 100 billion seems rather modest. I reckon they've lost a few hundred billion at least. Remember what you said today. It might just come true someday." "Remember what?" "Let us get out of here. This cafeteria is stifling. Let us return to enjoy the air conditioning," Chun Jiansheng urged. Chun Xiao chuckled and hopped onto Lu Xian's motorcycle, and the four of them rode towards Xiulin with a distant Land Rover trailing behind. Chun Xiao couldn't help but ponder how his classmates in Class 2 would react if they discovered that, during their university years, a billionaire was concealed among them. It would surely be a fascinating revelation. Chun Xiao and Lu Xian played until the early hours of the morning before returning to their dormitory. Upon entering, they immediately noticed a change in Xiao Ji. This fellow had recently permed his hair, and his desk was cluttered with shopping bags. "Wow, have you lost your mind? How much did all this cost?" Lu Xian exclaimed. Each piece of clothing was from a brand, with even a single item priced at 400 or 500. For a student living on a monthly allowance of 1,000 yuan, this was sheer extravagance, and it was evident that Xiao Ji had purchased more than one outfit. Xiao Ji tossed 2 cigarettes over and casually remarked, "It was only a little over 4,000. Not expensive." Lu Xian retorted, "You better pay me back." Xiao Ji replied, "In a few days, once my dad sends me the money." Lu Xian laughed, thinking to himself, "Play a few rounds? You've spent an entire semester's worth of living expenses in a single day. If your dad finds out, he'll be lucky if he doesn't break your legs, let alone send you more money." Chapter 206. The campus star Lu Xian was filled with frustration. Initially, Xiao Ji's purchases were of no concern to him. However, the fact that this scoundrel owed money yet squandered it recklessly was infuriating. More critically, with all his funds depleted, how would they manage meals this semester? Xiao Ji, ever brazen, seemed unaffected by Lu Xian's ire as he flaunted his new attire. "Xingyi, what do you think of my outfit? Does it match? Perhaps I should wear this tomorrow?" The younger girls seemed to favor the collegiate style. In a fit of rage, Lu Xian retorted, "Get lost. Don't call me. I have no time for such an unfilial descendant." The next day, Class 2 set up a welcoming station at the school gate for incoming freshmen. Xiao Ji deliberately donned new clothes, meticulously styled his hair, and even spritzed on some cologne. His motorcycle gleamed, polished to perfection. At the reception point, a lively chatter filled the air as new students began to arrive, seeking guidance. For the boys, most inquiries were met with directions on navigating the campus and the enrollment process, after which they were left to fend for themselves. In contrast, the girls were often escorted, especially the more attractive ones who didn't even have to carry their luggage. As the class representative, Wu Ling coordinated the activities on site. "Xiao Ji, please assist this freshman. He is confused about the enrollment process." Xiao Ji turned away dismissively. "I can't, my leg is cramping. Let someone else handle it." With a sigh, Wu Ling called out, "Lu Xian, you go help him." Lu Xian grumbled in response, "Damn it. I doubt you would cramp up if you saw a pretty girl." At that moment, a beautiful female freshman approached. Before she reached the information desk, Xiao Ji dashed over. "Hello, freshman. I'm the senior responsible for welcoming you. Please follow me." "Oh, thank you, senior," she replied gratefully. "You're welcome. I'll give you a ride on my motorcycle." As the girl entered the university for the first time, she couldn't help but reflect on the years of hard work paying off. The seniors were so welcoming. Watching the motorcycle whisk her away, the bewildered freshman remained speechless. "Does this senior recover from cramps so quickly?" Lu Xian remarked to the confused freshman. "Did you see that? If you ever have someone like him in your dorm, be very cautious, especially about lending him money. The freshman nodded, still in a daze, as the two of them trudged under the blazing sun with their luggage in tow. Chun Xiao had anticipated this. With Xiao Ji investing so heavily, he would not rest until he had captured the heart of a stunning girl. By 10 in the morning, an increasing number of new students flooded into the school. Wu Ling and her group were clearly overwhelmed, and Chun Xiao, like the others, stepped in to assist, answering the myriad of questions posed by the bewildered newcomers. Welcoming new students was a laborious task, particularly for those who weren't motivated by personal interest in the freshmen. With temperatures soaring to 38 or 39 degrees Celsius, the modest shade of a canopy was inadequate against the heat. Students from Class 2 were drenched in sweat, with Liu Xian making several trips back and forth, while Xiao Ji, having disappeared with the girl, was nowhere to be seen. At that moment, no one paid him any mind. Chun Xiao assessed the situation and handed Liu Xian 200 yuan, instructing him, "On your way back, please buy some freshly squeezed juice with ice." Liu Xian reached into his pocket, tempted to boast, "Allow me to treat for this," yet with 200 yuan, he knew he could not earn that amount even after a day of labor. "Damn it, don't emulate Xiao Ji. Once the money runs out, I won't be able to support you," he admonished. "Enough chatter. Hurry up and return." Liu Xian mounted his rickety motorcycle, which only emitted noise from its exhaust, and sped off in a plume of black smoke to purchase juice. Just as the crowd was on the verge of heat exhaustion, Liu Xian returned bearing several large bags of juice. "Come, everyone, let us take a break and enjoy some juice. In this sweltering weather, we must not overexert ourselves." The classmates of Class 2 were taken aback by such extravagance. Ever since the end of the last semester, Chun Xiao had suddenly become generous, as if he had won the lottery. "Wow, Xiao Ge is impressive. Xiao Ge is incredible. Chun Xiao is so handsome." The others were oblivious to the source of his newfound wealth. Only Liu Xian was aware, and he concluded that Chun Xiao still possessed at least 5,000 yuan. "Damn it, wealthy man. Had I known, I would have ordered a larger cup, saving you a dime." Liu Xian grumbled while handing over the remaining change to Chun Xiao. Chun Xiao smiled, pocketing the money, which he likely would not retrieve unless necessary, ultimately becoming a small surprise for Li Wenli, who would do his laundry. A group of them sipped the chilled juice, feeling somewhat rejuvenated. As noon approached, they needed to endure just another half hour to finish. But suddenly a commotion erupted at the entrance. All eyes turned to the source. It was a girl dragging a pink suitcase, dressed in exceedingly fashionable attire. Her doll-like face exquisitely cute, and her large eyes seemed to speak. Clad in a plaid dress and adorned with a lace-trimmed sun hat, she radiated youth and beauty. "Goodness, is that Zhang Enki?" "It is her. I've seen her on a variety show. My heavens, a celebrity among this year's freshmen." In this era of fervent idol worship, Zhang Enki's appearance immediately stirred a frenzy at the school gate. Among all present, only Chun Xiao remained composed. He was well acquainted with Zhang Enki, a young prodigy, a renowned singer, and the campus star. She had thrived in various talent shows throughout her university years. Initially, her prospects seemed bright, having been recognized by industry giants as the most promising newcomer of the year. However, after graduation, she married a company executive 15 years her senior and faded from the limelight. The last news Chun Xiao had heard of her was 2 years prior, concerning her divorce. As a celebrity of Zhang Enki's stature, he was familiar with her and had heard some gossip, yet their paths had never crossed. Now, seeing her again, she appeared as a fresh-faced young girl, just entering university, a potential singer widely regarded by fans as the most beautiful girl next door. Though she had gained some recognition, she had yet to secure third place in the variety show Happy Girls, only achieving the status of a top 16 contestant. Thus, she enrolled quietly, much like her peers. "Hello, may I ask where I can complete the enrollment procedures?" Wu Ling paused for a moment, then turned to Chun Xiao, saying, "Xiao Zi, could you please show this student the way?" After speaking, she winked at Chun Xiao. Chun Xiao was at a loss for words. He recognized that Ling Jian meant well. Yet he pondered how his apparent identity could possibly intertwine with that of such a celestial beauty. The glaring sun outside was relentless, and the shuttle bus was already overcrowded. Although the crowd buzzed with excitement upon encountering a celebrity, the notion of anyone relinquishing their seat was utterly implausible. The university students carried an air of arrogance. Typically, they might glance at a star, but none would abandon their dignity to rush over and shout. Zhang Enki turned to Chun Xiao, who resignedly stood up. "Let us go then." "Thank you, senior. No need for gratitude." Immediately, onlookers observed a young man striding ahead with his hands in his pockets. followed by a frail girl laboriously pulling a pink suitcase behind her. Chapter 207. Tung Xiao Group Press Conference. Wuling shook her head, muttering to herself, Xiaozi, this straightforward guy is hopeless. Surely, if you offered her some assistance, asking for a phone number wouldn't be out of the question. However, Chun Xiao was not one to transform into a sycophant, not even for his own partner, let alone a stranger. Senior, how much further do we have? Zheng Enki panted. Chun Xiao paused for a moment and replied, another 300 meters. Just hold on a bit longer. You can do it, Zheng Enki. Senior, could you assist me a little? Chun Xiao replied, I cannot. Then may I rest for a moment? Chun Xiao glanced at the sun and found a tree root to pause. All right, let us take a 2-minute break. Zheng Enki, flushed from the heat, had beads of sweat dotting her forehead. She retrieved a tissue from her bag and meticulously wiped her face. After contemplating for a moment, she offered a tissue to Chun Xiao. Senior, would you like a tissue? Chun Xiao looked at her. It would be illogical not to reciprocate a kindness. No, I'm not hot, but I see you're sweating. It's fine. I'll just take a shower when I get back to the dormitory. Zheng Enki remarked, how ruthless. Are all seniors in college so heartless? Let us go. I still need to pick up other junior sisters. Zheng Enki was speechless. All right then. She continued to drag her suitcase alone until she finally reached the registration desk. Chun Xiao succinctly explained the process to her before turning to leave. Zheng Enki completed her enrollment procedures and paid her tuition, then dragged her suitcase toward the dormitory. The suitcase was laden with clothing and instruments required for the upcoming welcome party, making it particularly heavy. With immense effort, she finally made it to the 5th floor, her entire being drenched in perspiration. Her roommates were astonished upon seeing her. Zheng Enki? Wow, a star. Are you in the same dormitory as us? I saw on a variety show that Zheng Enki is in my cohort and also enrolled at Jining University. I can't believe we're in the same dormitory. This is fantastic. Hey, why do you look so exhausted? Didn't any seniors accompany you? Faced with her roommate's barrage of questions, Zheng Enki wiped her sweat, greeted everyone, and then explained, the senior dropped me off at the registration desk and left. Did all of you have seniors escort you? The roommates nodded in unison. Yes, they helped us carry our luggage the entire way. Indeed, they brought us all the way to the 5th floor. We owe a lot to the seniors. Why do I find myself so unfortunate? The senior I encountered is rather different from those of others. Ah, it feels delightful. I shall take a shower first, as the heat is unbearable. I will guide you to the bathroom. The dormitory has welcomed a celebrity, and several classmates are quite enthusiastic. This experience allows Zheng Enki to initially savor the kindness of a university campus. As for Chun Xiao, he naturally refrained from greeting the junior and instead called Lei Yong to bring the car around, retreating to the vehicle to rest in the air conditioning. Only when he felt thoroughly refreshed did he return to the dormitory for a shower, change his attire, and engage in a brief conversation with his advisor. Subsequently, he returned to the company. The orientation lasts 3 days, but given this sweltering weather, Chun Xiao has no intention of attending further. He will reconsider when the new students begin their military training. Otherwise, he would be embroiled in various matters. Once distanced from campus life, Chun Xiao transformed into an imperious CEO. Due to significant share sell-offs by the primary stakeholders, the stock price of Ocean Group has plummeted. Consequently, Tung Xiao Capital's acquisition has proceeded remarkably smoothly. Today, their shareholding has surpassed 5%, reaching a level that necessitates public disclosure. There is little to conceal. Everything is conducted in accordance with established procedures. However, matters within the entertainment industry are particularly sensitive. The substantial upheaval within a prominent domestic film and television group naturally attracts considerable attention. When Tung Xiao Capital publicly announced its 5% stake in Ocean Group, becoming the company's 3rd largest shareholder, reporters nearly swarmed the scene. Upon Chun Xiao's arrival at the company, he was taken aback by the sight before him. He initially feared something had gone awry within the company, but after making inquiries, he learned it was indeed related to the situation with Ocean Group. Upon noticing the arrival of the boss's car, the security personnel of Tung Xiao Capital swiftly parted the crowd, clearing a pathway for 3 vehicles to enter in succession, only to be surrounded again by the throng of reporters. In the underground parking lot, as Chun Xiao stepped out of the car, he spotted Su Tang waiting alongside colleagues from the investment department. Boss, shall we accept interviews? Chun Xiao pondered for a moment before responding affirmatively. Why not? Very well. I shall make arrangements. Just then, Chun Xiao called her back. Let's simply hold a press conference, allowing all these reporters to come in together, so we do not waste time addressing them one by one. Understood. Chun Xiao continued. You will host a press conference. Regardless of their inquiries, remember one principle. We must convey that our acquisition of Ocean Group is merely a frivolous endeavor, lacking any serious intent or future plans, and potentially leading the company into turmoil. Su Tang was momentarily taken aback. I understand. All right, go ahead. While Su Tang did not question this directive, her colleagues in the investment department had differing thoughts. What kind of strategy is this, boss? Are we undermining our own reputation? Though they were puzzled, they dared not inquire further, adhering to the boss's intentions as they prepared to summon reporters for the press conference. Upon receiving the news, the reporters were no longer in a hurry, orderly lining up to register and enter Tung Shao Capital. Once inside the courtyard, they beheld the immense financial strength of this company, which had only been established a few months prior. The office equipment and facilities, compared to those in Jining, are certainly of the highest caliber. Even the greenery in the courtyard is meticulously chosen and quite exquisite. In the conference room, the administrative staff has arranged the venue. The display screen is ready, showcasing the title Tongxiao Capital Group Press Conference. Journalists stream in, eager to secure prime positions and set up their cameras. Despite the commendable capabilities of Tongxiao Capital's personnel, a certain disarray is inevitable in the rush. However, as everyone is there for the news, no one seems to mind. In fact, no one even notices the unfamiliar face amidst the group of reporters. What kind of company is this that, having been established for less than 6 months, has acquired the Ocean Group? Chen Xiao replied, who knows? Perhaps it's run by some second-generation rich kid, likely not very reputable. The reporters mistakenly took him for a peer. And he continued, as for their acquisition of the Ocean Group, I have insider information suggesting that the boss intends to support a mistress with a purchase, and they will probably sell it off once the fun is over. Really? That's unfortunate for the Ocean Group. It was a solid company. Let us hope it doesn't collapse. Buddy, you aren't spreading rumors, are you? Chen Xiao replied seriously. My aunt works as a cleaner at Tongxiao Capital, responsible for the top floor where the chairman and executives are. I've heard it all firsthand. There's no mistake. The group of journalists pondered for a moment. It certainly seemed plausible. Cleaners are often overlooked, and they may overhear snippets of conversation. Wow, this rich second generation really is investing heavily, a reporter exclaimed. Chen Xiao remarked, it's really not much. It appears to be a substantial transaction. Play for 2 years, sell it off, and they might even make a profit. Just imagine, controlling such a large film and television group. How many starlets would this scion endanger? The reporters felt as though they had stumbled upon a new realm of possibilities. Wow, Tongxiao Capital might be making headlines in the future. Brother, share your contact information. Let us know if you hear of anything. We can offer compensation. Yes. Just a few of us. Don't tell anyone else. Chen Xiao hesitated. Our website aims for exclusivity. A bystander interjected. How much can you earn from exclusivity? The fees the brothers offer you would far exceed what you get from being exclusive. Chen Xiao feigned contemplation for a moment. All right then, but you must promise not to disclose this. Rest assured. Soon after, an internal news group was established, and the Tongxiao Capital press conference finally commenced. Su Tang stepped onto the podium, surveying the reporters below. Her gaze momentarily paused in the center before swiftly returning to normal. Esteemed journalist friends, I am Su Tang, General Manager of Tongxiao Capital. Regarding our company's acquisition of the Ocean Group, I am here to provide clarifications. Please raise your hand if you have questions. No sooner had she finished speaking than nearly all the reporters raised their hands. Su Tang pointed to a journalist near her, and a staff member promptly handed over the microphone. The journalist inquired, Ms. Su, does Tongxiao Capital's acquisition of the Ocean Group indicate a foray into the film and television industry? Su Tang smiled gently and replied, our company does not intend to venture into the film and television sector. We will continue to focus on our primary business. The journalist pressed further, inquiring about the rationale behind the acquisition of this film and television group by your esteemed company. Su Tang replied, it is due to personal reasons concerning our chairman, who requires the support of Ocean Group to assist certain friends. The specifics are rather private and pertain to our chairman's personal life, thus I cannot divulge further details. Chen Xiao silently gave a thumbs up. The implication was unmistakable. Personal life, privacy, assisting friends. Only a fool would fail to discern that the chairman intended to elevate a woman in his life. The venue was filled with the rapid tapping of keyboards as reporters diligently recorded the information. The microphone was soon passed to the next questioner. What are the future operational plans of Tongxiao Capital for Ocean Group? Su Tang responded, at present, we are merely the third largest shareholder and do not possess significant influence over the company's operational decisions. Should we acquire a greater share in the future, We may adjust our strategy according to our preferences. An audible gasp echoed through the room. Adjusting strategy based on preferences? This was mere play. Another individual posed a question. Ms. Sue, if your company gains the ability to influence Ocean Group's decisions in the future, which areas of business would you prioritize? Su Tang pondered briefly before stating, perhaps film, as that aligns more closely with our chairman's original intentions. The audience collectively recognized that these inquiries had effectively unveiled Tung Xiao Capital's true intentions. Journalists continued to probe with various questions, seeking to discern Tung Xiao Capital's stance on Ocean Group from multiple angles. Upholding Chun Zhao's philosophy, Su Tang solidified the impression she left on the reporters. Surrounding Chun Xiao, several journalists incessantly praised, "Wow, brother, our second aunt is incredible. She truly uncovered the core secrets of Tung Xiao Capital. Bro, encourage her to keep it up. We're eagerly awaiting your news." Chun Xiao replied, "No problem. I'll speak to my second aunt right away." These reporters, connecting Chun Zhao's second aunt with Su Tang's responses, had fully ascertained Tung Xiao Capital's intentions. After the meeting, they hurriedly returned to file their reports. Chun Xiao followed the crowd out of the venue and, seizing the opportunity to visit the restroom, returned to the chairman's office. Within half an hour, related news stories were published. Chun Xiao couldn't help but chuckle at the headlines. The creativity of these individuals was astounding. A vaguely ambiguous press conference had led them to portray the chairman of Tung Xiao Capital as a debauched playboy manipulating the entertainment industry's unspoken rules. The future of Ocean Group appeared bleak. The more shares Tung Xiao Capital acquired, the more the market's confidence waned. Ocean Group's stock price plummeted further, with a cumulative decline exceeding 50. However, those acquainted with Chun Xiao perceived the news differently. Yin was astonished to learn that Chun Xiao had amassed such a substantial stake in Ocean Group and contemplated following suit. Yet her available funds had all been allocated to purchasing shares in Jinning Pharmaceutical. In contrast, Yin Bingqin found herself in a different predicament. Having been stripped of most of her board positions by Yin Ziyuan, she was now liquidating her holdings in Atlantic Capital Group, thus enjoying ample liquidity. Upon observing Chun Zhao's maneuvers and giving it some thought, he decided to follow suit and invest. Upon hearing this, Tang Xiaofei, Zhang Meng, and Xiong Chao hurriedly contacted Chun Xiao, expressing their desire to join in. Chun Xiao had no objections. Since the information was public, it could no longer be concealed. He merely cautioned them that his interest in the Daon Group was not based on optimism regarding its future stock price, but rather on other considerations. Consequently, each of the three opted to invest amounts ranging from a few hundred to several million, treating it more as a recreational venture. Meanwhile, Yin Bingqin, steadfast in her faith in Chun Xiao, seized the opportunity to invest heavily while trading volumes were vibrant. Chun Xiao was indifferent to this, as her funds were limited. The more she invested in the Daon Group, the less she would have available for her future real estate company. The concealed information currently revolved around minor market movements, which warranted establishing a trading group for operations, while the other two groups took turns on leave. Leaning back on the spacious sofa in his office, Chun Xiao savored a lavish fruit platter prepared by Dong Shu Wen. The room maintained a comfortable 26 degrees Celsius, and the picturesque scenery of Qian Lake outside remained enchanting. Reflecting on the new students braving the sweltering heat, he couldn't help but shake his head in sympathy. Meanwhile, Xing Yanqing was engaged in a phone conversation with Sun Ning. Given the peculiar nature of this operation, he felt constrained in what he could disclose. Sun Ning probed, "Isn't it just stocks and futures? What is so extraordinary about normal trading?" Xing Yanqing replied, "Ying, you are still too naive. In normal trading, who can guarantee profits? It often requires some unconventional methods." Sun Ning frowned at the mention of unconventional methods, grappling internally with whether to risk everything for her deceased best friend. After 3 years of effort, this was her closest encounter with the truth. After a moment's hesitation, she spoke up, "Is it really that extraordinary? May I come and see?" A slight smirk crept across Xing Yanqing's lips. Having learned of Sun Ying's inquiries regarding the girl who fell from the building, he intentionally revealed some related information to entice her further. Chapter 209. Anxious as fire reflecting on her motives for approaching him, Xing Yanqing felt a pang of apprehension. If it weren't for Sun Ying's previous attempt to reach a decisive conclusion with him, culminating in a bold test of his limits, he might not have discovered her intentions so easily.